with a bowl on top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and the 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and the 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. Jump down to verse 11.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof?
What are the 2 olive trees? So that was the question, right? Read it again.
Then answered I and said unto him, What are those 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof?
That was your question. Read.
And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves?
Who are the 2? Read.
And he answered unto me and said, Knowest thou not what these be?
Don't you know what these are? Read.
And I said, No, my Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth.
These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Most High on the whole earth. And when you go into the book of Luke, it shows you about those 2. They're speaking to Christ, letting Christ know what would happen to him on his way to Jerusalem. Who's that? Moses and Elijah. But if you're waiting for these 2 to come back and prophesy, it's not going to happen, because in Revelations it's talking an allegory of Israel and Judah, the 2 kingdoms which were split. All right. I'm opening up for questions for you all too, if y'all want them. And I want to say this also. I'll go into that after class. Let me see. So someone asked, did Christ prophesy treading down Edom? Yes. Isaiah prophesied the thereafter of Christ treading down Edom. Absolutely. Okay. Someone says, Esau mixed his seed amongst the nations. How do you know if you're Esau or Israel? Good question. The scriptures are perfect in its prophecy. And when I say the scriptures are perfect in its prophecy, the Most High is not going to allow a prophecy that he said would only happen to the children of Israel happen to Moabites or Edomites or Ishmaelites or what have you. The prophecy goes to his people. So that's crystal clear. And we're not going to strive in genealogy to the point where we're going to go looking for our great-great-great-grandfather. That's not going to happen. The Bible says you can't strive in that. We'll follow Christ. Okay? And another thing. Some people are saying, well, when it came to the slave masters raping the women, we need to start doing some research on that too, because the research you do on that is, I mean, just to think that every time someone have intercourse that they have babies or children is that's not even no understanding in itself. So every time someone was raped, they didn't have a child. That's number one. Number two, the midwives were killing the majority of children that was being raped by slave masters. Not just because they wanted to. The slave masters was commanding them to, so that their wives didn't find out that they had other children. So you had a vast number of babies that were being killed from birth. So when people go into these what ifs, they have to do the research on what was happening during that time. It's far less than you think. In the same way Esau have mixed himself among the nations, every nation have mixed themselves amongst nations. Israel has mixed themselves amongst nations. Let's talk about that. Because the Most High also tells us in the book of Obadiah that he made Esau, or the Edomites, small among the heathen. So they're really the smallest group. So why should I go into how many children they done had? When a lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of these people we think are Edomites probably came through Israel's fertile seed. There's a bigger chance in us getting to them and overpopulating them than them overpopulating us. The Bible, the Obadiah tells us that he made them small among the nations. That's common sense. So, and that's the reason we tell people to stop just dealing with judging according to appearance. Because suppose these people you talking about, the devil and all this, is actually a child of Israel. It's a total waste of brain power. Let's see here. Let's see here. Someone asked, when the Messiah came to the earth and made it possible for Gentiles to enter the congregation, does that mean that they have become part of the nation of Israel? No, they didn't become part of the nation of Israel. A nation of people is based on the flesh. But they are partakers of the promise. They are partakers of the kingdom in their capacity if they follow Christ. Yes. There's a place for them if they follow Christ. Let's get that. Go to Revelations, the 21st chapter. Revelations 22. Let's see. It talks about the nations. So I'll go into it. Revelations 22 and 2. Start the first verse.
Revelations chapter 22 verse 1.
Go ahead.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb.
Go ahead.
And in the midst of the street of it, and on the other side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manners of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
Read it again.
And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So the nations will be able to come in and partake of the tree of life. That's common sense. That's not a bad deal. Okay? And these are the nations that follow Christ. Now, this is the part that we need to really concentrate on. The fact that only a small remnant of Israel is going to make it into the kingdom. And we're talking about whether or not the nations will make it. We might not make it into this kingdom to partake into what the nations are getting right here. We have to make sure we get in. Going back to what we read in Ezra, we can't think on how the wicked shall be punished, but more so deal with how the righteous shall be saved. That's what we must concentrate on, the righteous being saved. So, someone have some more questions. Someone asked, where is Satan right now? Satan is controlling all the governments. He's at the top of what you would call the pyramid, the spiritual pyramid that's made in this earth. He's the president of all corporations. The pyramid represents the all-seeing eye, which is Satan at the top. So all corporations umbrella, and Satan is right at the top of that pyramid. He's your CEO of all corporations, commander-in-chief of the world. His seat, where he's sitting at right now, is in Capernaum. He's in Capernaum in Israel right now. That's his physical seat. He has no power or authority to go before the heavenly realm and walk through the ports to stand before the Most High like he did in the Old Testament. The Most High have limited his bounds to the earth. So he must walk around like a man. So because he lost that power, he used technology as windows like this computer to be able to get through to the corporations and to the world and become the principalities and powers of the air to control the people that way. He's bound to the physical realm of this earth. He has no more power than just a regular man at this point, physically. But his spiritual connection to the world is through his technology. He's at the top of all corporations. Okay? And in Isaiah it says, we shall look upon him and say, is this the man that did shake kingdoms? Someone asked, are we still in the UK? Yes, we are right now. Yes. The number of Satan's name is 666, the mark of a man. Hey, Zell, what was your question?
I had a question on Revelation 22:13.
Go ahead.
Where it says that, when it says Christ says, I am Alpha and Omega, it's talking about the Most High of Christ.
That's Christ.
So Christ, he's saying he's the beginning and the end.
He's the beginning and the end. The Most High sent him to begin everything, Colossians 1:13 through 16, and he's going to send Christ to finish it all. Before there was time, Christ was sent forth to make everything we see today. All right?
What chapter and verse is that?
Again, we're going to say this, and I'm probably going to say this for the last time. Women can teach men, okay? They just cannot teach in an authoritative position in a church. They cannot be ministers, deacons. They cannot, women teach men all the time. Suppose you know something that your man don't know. Should he stay ignorant because you can't teach him? Maybe you read more than he do. If you read something and you bring it forth, if he's a spiritual man, he'll receive it. Women can teach men. They do it all the time. Someone asked how many levels of heaven. There's 7 levels of heaven. Let's see here. The 2 witnesses are Judah and Israel. But there are also 2 witnesses in the heavenly realm that witness